Before we dive in, hit subscribe and join the squad. We break down everything Marvel, from multiverse madness to the tiniest Easter eggs. Let's start with level 1, foundation that every other Spider-Man builds upon. This is Peter Parker from the Raimi trilogy, portrayed by Tobey Maguire. He represents the purest form of what Spider-Man was always meant to be. After getting bitten by that radioactive spider, Peter gains superhuman strength that lets him lift around 10 tons, incredible agility that makes him nearly impossible to pin down, and reflexes enhanced by his famous spider sense. His wall-crawling abilities and organic web shooters complete the classic package. What sets this Spider-Man apart isn't raw power, but his grounded approach to heroism. He faces threats like the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and Sandman with nothing but his wits, his webs, and his unwavering moral compass. There are no cosmic power-ups here, no multiversal adventures, just a young man learning what it means to carry the weight of responsibility. His battles are intensely personal, often revolving around protecting the people he loves most. This Spider-Man proves that you don't need reality warping abilities to be a true hero, but raw potential can sometimes outweigh experience, which brings us to level 2. Miles Morales, specifically his Spider-Verse iteration, represents the next generation of spider-powered heroes. While he may be younger and less experienced than Peter, Miles possesses abilities that the original Spider-Man could only dream of. His Venom Blast can incapacitate enemies with bioelectric energy, and his invisibility makes him a master of stealth combat. Miles struggles with living up to the legacy left behind by his predecessor, but his unique power set gives him advantages that even seasoned Spider-Men lack. His Venom Blasts can overload electronics, disable opponents, and even break through certain defenses that traditional spider powers cannot. The invisibility isn't just optical camouflage either. It extends to other forms of detection, making him nearly untrackable when he chooses to disappear. What Miles lacks in experience, he makes up for with versatility and raw talent that hints at a ceiling far higher than most realize. Level 3 takes us into the future with Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. This isn't your typical spider-bite origin story. Miguel's DNA was rewritten with spider genetics, creating a fundamentally different kind of enhancement. His talons are organic and retractable, capable of cutting through materials that would stop regular Spider-Men cold. His fangs inject a paralytic venom, and his enhanced physiology makes him faster and more durable than his predecessors. What makes Miguel particularly dangerous is his aggressive fighting style combined with advanced futuristic technology. His suit isn't just fabric, it's smart fiber that can shift between different configurations and resist various forms of attack. However, he operates without the traditional spider sense that most other versions rely on, forcing him to depend more on his enhanced reflexes and tactical awareness. This makes him incredibly lethal in direct combat, but potentially vulnerable to surprise attacks that other Spider-Men would instinctively avoid. The 4th level introduces us to Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, and this is where things get psychologically complex. As a clone of Peter Parker, Ben possesses identical physical abilities, but with a crucial difference in mindset. Years of existing as a copy, of questioning his own identity and purpose, have hardened him into something more ruthless than the original. Ben's combat style reflects this emotional evolution. Where Peter might hesitate or look for nonviolent solutions, Ben strikes with calculated precision. He's willing to cross lines that Peter won't, making him more effective in certain situations, but also more dangerous to both enemies and allies. His web shooters often contain more lethal configurations, and his fighting techniques incorporate elements that the original Spider-Man would consider too extreme. This psychological edge, combined with identical physical capabilities, makes Ben a formidable opponent who fights without the moral restraints that sometimes hold Peter back. But raw power and ruthless efficiency pale in comparison to what happens when genius-level intellect meets spider-powered abilities. This brings us to level 5, and we're about to explore something truly terrifying. Level 5 represents something that should terrify anyone who understands what happens when brilliant scientific minds abandon moral boundaries. This is the Superior Spider-Man, where Dr. Otto Octavius succeeded in swapping consciousness with Peter Parker, trapping the hero's mind while taking control of his body. What emerged wasn't just another Spider-Man variant, it was a calculated predator wearing the face of a beloved hero. Otto brought decades of scientific genius and tactical brilliance to abilities that Peter had never fully optimized. Where Peter relied on instinct and improvisation, Otto approached every situation with methodical precision. He redesigned the web shooters with lethal efficiency, created an army of spider bots to monitor the entire city, and eliminated crime through systematic intimidation rather than heroic intervention. His spider sense became a tactical advantage, rather than just a warning system, processed through a mind that could predict and counter enemy movements 3 steps ahead. The terrifying aspect of the Superior Spider-Man wasn't just his enhanced effectiveness, it was his complete willingness to cross every line that Peter held sacred. Otto killed enemies without hesitation, manipulated allies through deception, and treated civilians as variables in complex equations rather than people worth protecting. He possessed all of Spider-Man's physical capabilities enhanced by one of the most brilliant minds in the Marvel Universe. but stripped of every moral constraint that made Peter Parker a hero rather than a threat. But even the cold calculation of a genius-level intellect pales before cosmic forces that transcend earthly limitations. Level 6 introduces us to something beyond conventional superheroics entirely. When Peter Parker bonded with the Enigma Force, becoming Captain Universe, he transformed from a street-level hero into a cosmic entity capable of reshaping reality itself. This is Cosmic Spider-Man, and the power differential is so massive it defies easy comprehension. The Unipower doesn't just enhance existing abilities, it rewrites the fundamental rules of what's possible. Cosmic Spider-Man can manipulate matter at the molecular level, survive in the vacuum of space indefinitely, and generate energy blasts that can level entire city blocks. His spider sense expands beyond danger detection to cosmic awareness, allowing him to perceive threats across multiple dimensions simultaneously. He can travel faster than light, phase through solid objects at will, and his strength becomes virtually limitless rather than capped at 10 tons. What makes this version truly unstoppable isn't just raw power, but the scope of his capabilities. Regular Spider-Men swing between buildings and dodge bullets. Cosmic Spider-Man can literally grab opponents and throw them into orbit, create force fields that withstand nuclear explosions, or simply disintegrate enemies at the atomic level. He once defeated the Tri-Sentinel, a massive robot designed to destroy all mutants, by essentially willing it out of existence. The gap between this version and street-level Spider-Man is like comparing a hurricane to a gentle breeze. Yet cosmic power, no matter how vast, can be corrupted by influences that poison the very essence of heroism. This brings us to the final and most nightmarish level, something that represents the absolute worst-case scenario for what Spider-Man could become. Level 7 isn't just powerful, it's an abomination that perverts everything noble about the Spider-Man legacy into something unspeakably evil. The Spider-Man who laughs emerges from the dark multiverse, a reality where every story ends in tragedy and corruption. This isn't Peter Parker enhanced by cosmic forces or brilliant minds taking control of his body. This is something far more sinister, a fusion of Spider-Man's powers with the twisted intellect of the Batman who laughs, creating a being that combines superhuman abilities with the corrupted genius of someone who has abandoned every principle that once defined him as a hero. This abomination possesses not just Peter's classic spider powers, but enhanced versions twisted by dark multiversal energy. His web shooters create constructs of living shadow that can drain the life force from enemies. His spider sense has evolved into a form of precognition that allows him to see multiple potential futures simultaneously, always choosing the path that causes maximum suffering. The wall-crawling ability extends to crawling through dimensions themselves, making him capable of appearing anywhere across the multiverse without warning. What makes the Spider-Man who laughs truly terrifying isn't just his power set, but his methodology. He retains all of Batman's tactical brilliance and strategic planning, combined with the Joker's complete disregard for human life and Peter Parker's intimate knowledge of heroic psychology. He knows exactly how to break other heroes because he understands their moral codes from the inside. He can predict their responses, exploit their weaknesses, and turn their greatest strengths against them with surgical precision. This version doesn't just defeat enemies, he corrupts them, turning heroes into versions of himself through exposure to dark, multiversal energy. His laugh can literally infect reality, spreading chaos and madness wherever he appears. He commands armies of corrupted heroes from across the dark multiverse, each one a twisted reflection of someone who once stood for justice and hope. The power scaling between these levels isn't linear, it's exponential. While the gap between level 1 and level 2 might be noticeable, the difference between level 6 and level 7 is the difference between a cosmic force and a multiversal plague that threatens the very concept of heroism itself. From the friendly neighborhood hero swinging through Queens to a multiversal nightmare that corrupts reality itself, the Spider-Man family represents every possible evolution of power and responsibility. We've seen how experience, enhanced abilities, technological advancement, psychological hardening, genius intellect, cosmic forces, and dark corruption can transform the same basic concept into something completely different. What's fascinating is how each level reveals a different aspect of what makes Spider-Man who he is. Strip away the moral compass and you get the superior Spider-Man. Add cosmic power and you get a reality-warping force of nature. Corrupt the very essence of heroism and you create something that threatens the multiverse itself. The gap between level 1 and level 7 isn't just about raw power. It's about the fundamental nature of heroism versus corruption. Whether you prefer the grounded heroics of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man or the cosmic spectacle of Captain Universe, each version shows us a different path the same origin story could take. The spider bite is just the beginning. What happens next depends on choices, circumstances, and sometimes forces beyond anyone's control.